Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin this evening's board meeting. It is now 6:03 p.m. At this time, we request all cell phones and/or pagers be turned off or put in the silent mode. We also ask that you please refrain from using flash photography except during the special presentation portion of the meeting. We'd like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential, and the district's vision to be a world-class school system. This evening we have our fourth student representative with us, Sydney Brookhauser. Sydney was born in Nebraska and lived in Hawaii for 8 years prior to coming to Lee County, where she's been a student at Island Coast High for 3 years. She's enrolled in advanced placement and dual enrollment classes and holds a 4.3 GPA. She is a senior class president at Island Coast, captain of the varsity soccer team, and a member of the National Honor Society. She's producer for the Gator News and also a talent on the show. Sydney has served on the Superintendent's Student Council and was first team All-Lee County in soccer and named to the All-Conference team in girls tennis. She's a member of Mu Alpha Theta Mathematics Honor Society and participates in Youth Alive. Sydney is a volunteer coach with the Cyclone Soccer Association and works with Island Coast's life skills classes, teaching sign language to profoundly challenged students. She's been awarded an athletic scholarship to play soccer at Southeastern University, where she plans to study communication. We'll welcome you here tonight, Sydney. Good to have you here. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, presentation of colors and Pledge of Allegiance, 4 recognitions, 3 resolutions, 1 special presentation to the board, public comment, consent action items, which include 2 under executive services, 3 under business and finance, 8 under operations, 7 under teaching and learning, 2 superintendent recommendations, and 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Fisher, second by Mr. Armstrong. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Mrs. Dozier will deliver the invocation this evening, after which Mr. Armstrong will lead us in the pledge. After the special presentations, I'm going to call for a brief recess to allow those who wish to depart an opportunity to do so. If you'd now please stand and remain standing.
Please bow your heads. Dear God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening at this school board meeting at the end of April. We bless each person that is present here and represents each family in our school district. We ask that you guide the superintendent through the evening as she brings forth all of her recommendations and puts the agenda on the table. Please guide us as a board in the discussions that we are to have this evening, and give us the wisdom to make the right decisions concerning each issue that we face, and that those decisions will be in the best interest of every child and this community as a whole. We pray that this meeting will be successful, productive, and blessed. For that, we give you the glory for what we will accomplish this evening. Amen.
Amen. Tonight, the cadet presenting the national colors will be introduced by Commander Sergeant Major Retired Sean Bram, Army instructor of the JROTC program at South Fort Myers High School, who will introduce the cadet presenting the colors this evening. Sergeant Major Bram retired after 24 years of active duty service and is a veteran of Desert Storm and Desert Shield, Operation Iraq Freedom, and Operation Enduring Freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong, for the introduction. The national colors for our Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be presented by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Gustavo Rodriguez, one of the battalion commanders of the Wolfpack Academy Junior ROTC program. Cadet Rodriguez is a senior and has achieved a GPA of 3.10. He has participated in JROTC for the past 4 years. Cadet Rodriguez also is a member of the JROTC exhibition team, drill team, commander of the exhibition team. His dual team placed first in the state of Florida last year, and most recently finished first again at the Southwest Florida State Invitational Meet. Cadet Rodriguez will attend Full Sail University, Orlando, Florida, upon his graduation in May. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Please be seated.
I would like to invite Mr. David LaRosa, principal of Fort Myers High School, to please join me here at the lectern, and any of his staff that he has brought with him to join him as well. I'm going to ask you, before I give this award, if you will introduce everyone that you have with us, because you have one heck of a crowd tonight. So why don't you introduce everybody? Can you do that?
Let me see.
Let's see. Why don't y'all come one at a time, and just as they walk by, then you can, okay, just introduce yourself and then go on down.
Trent Eckhart, Assistant Principal, Curriculum.
And just go on down there. Just,
Jason Plucker, Assistant Principal.
Anna McGarry, history teacher.
Virginia Sisk, history teacher.
Julie Rose, math teacher.
Sarah Thompson, RTTT.
Kristen DeMarmo, Spanish teacher.
Joan Friedrich, IB coordinator.
Alice Spazig, interpreter for the deaf. Joanna Shanks, Spanish teacher.
Susan Barrows, registrar, guidance secretary.
Cheryl Jones, guidance.
Jenna Youngferman, English teacher.
Vanessa Davis, social studies teacher.
Annie Spielmaker, exceptional student education.
each one of these people have played a very important role in this award that this school is going to receive. Advanced Ed, or Sachs Cassie, which is the accreditation arm, is presenting to Fort Myers High School a award that is recognized for what they have done over the last 100 years. As the Green Wave achieves its 100th anniversary of accreditation. Did everybody hear that? The Green Wave, or Fort Myers High School, has been accredited for the last 100 years. Congratulations, Fort Myers. In order to be an accredited school, there are high standards that you have to meet. Fort Myers High School opened its doors in October 1911 as the Andrew D. Gwynn Institute, with state-of-the-art facilities for the time. Since that time, Fort Myers High School has achieved many successes, including the recognition for their exemplary International Baccalaureate program. The Green Wave has been included in the ranks of Newsweek's top 100 high schools and the Washington Post Top American High Schools Challenge Index. The school board and the superintendent are very pleased to congratulate Mr. David LaRosa, all of the staff members that are here tonight, and the staff members that are not here this evening, for achieving this tremendous milestone. And it is truly a tremendous milestone. This evening we are going to give you a beautiful plaque or paper, but this is what is really nice. The paper's okay, but this is what is really nice. If I can get it open. I didn't want to get it dirty.
Looks fancy.
I know, I'm going to let you get it dirty. Here, take it. All right, unfold it. And y'all can proudly display this in your school. I mean, is that not just unbelievable? Is that not awesome? Congratulations, Fort Myers. Would you like to say any words? For the picture.
Oh, okay.
All right, you're trying to put it away. What's wrong with him?
Thank you, Mrs. Dozier. I also want to thank Chairman Scott and the board and Dr. Graham for recognizing us tonight. And even though I have the privilege of standing here at the podium, you know, when I first got the phone call about this, the first thing that went through my mind is I said, well, this just says that we're really old is what it says. But after I sat and thought about it, you know, it's a statement to the whole district that the district has held Fort Myers High up to that standard, standard of excellence over those 100 years. And this goes back to Ramiro Seeley, who was the first principal of the school, through the years with J. Colin English and Harold Thompson, Mr. Wiseman, who was the principal for 20 years. But this is a credit to those individuals who were the leaders of that school also, along with the hundreds of teachers that came before us, along with the great staff that I have today. And so on behalf of myself and your school, because the school belongs to the district, I want to thank you for this recognition. Thank you.
That's right, you do want that. Then you can put it in there and let's put it right in the center. Well,
That's almost all you are.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Well, y'all were in the middle. Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thanks. And I'm probably going to butcher this name that I've got to say, and I'm going to apologize profusely ahead of time, during, and afterwards. I would like to invite Dr. Peter Denui, professor and member of the NAACP Education Committee, to please join me here at the lectern. I heard it from the audience. That's what, except I just call him Peter. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much. The Afro-American Cultural Technological and Scientific Olympics, or ACSO, are not just for and about African American high school students in Lee County. According to James Milwaukee, president of the Lee County NAACP, it is about any youth who has any type of talent. Our youth is willing to cross the color line to be a part of something together, regardless of race. It is a wonderful example of what the future looks like. At a recent local ACSO competition, Lee County had 5 gold medal winners, 2 silver medal winners. The gold medal winners will be representing Lee County in the ACSO National Olympics, which will be held in Las Vegas in July. We can't wait for them to bring home the gold again. I'm sure they're already national champions, but they're going to get the recognition formally in Las Vegas. As the students' names are called, we would ask that the principal and teachers representing these students, would you please escort the students up to the front? The board members and superintendents are very pleased to recognize and congratulate the following gold and silver medal winners. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to give you these. Okay. Oh, absolutely. You have your team with you? Okay. Why don't we have the committee to come up as well, so that all of you can be introduced as well. Some of you I've already met before. How are you? Good to see you again. You want them to introduce themselves, or you want to introduce them?
They should introduce themselves.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Christina Dargis, and I'm the expert judge for this year's competition. We held the students and the judges to the very strict standards that National set forth, so that we are sending the very best of our students from Lee County to Las Vegas. Thank you.
Samuel Mitchell, Chairman of the Veteran Executive Board.
Darlene Mitchell, the lead coach for the ACSO team.
And I've got to put a plug in for this lady. She does a phenomenal job.
And I'm Dana Isaac, a teacher at Cape Coral High School, and I assisted with the science contestants.
Bailey Peralto, Oratory, Oasis Charters High School. Now, are these, Anastasia Petrick, Dramatics, North Fort Myers High School. Congratulations. I know you're proud of her. Congratulations. Why don't you just stay here? Come around this way. Eden Collier, Dance, Cypress Lake High School. Monica Green, Biology, Cape Coral High School. Patty, for being here. You do a phenomenal job, too. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
She gets mental CJ.
No. Thank you, Peter. Congratulations. All right. Let's see. You got to help me out. Nun Green. Chemistry, Cape Coral High School. Now, those are all the gold medal winners. Let's give them another round of applause, folks. And now for the silver medal winners. Anastasia Petrick, Poetry, North Fort Myers High School. Victor Simonelli, Dramatics, North Fort Myers High School. And you know what? I didn't Congratulations. 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 We'll just give them those up here. All right, if y'all want to come on. Do you want to say something? I want you to say something.
You want me to say something?
I want you to say something.
I'm shy.
I know. I'm not going to force you to say something.
Well, thank you for forcing me to say something, Ms. Josia. You know I'm a very shy man. Anyway, looking at these people, don't they look good? Come on, it's beautiful. Mr. Scott, Chairman of the school board, members of the school board, Dr. Graham, we're very honored to have these people with us. In order to build a world-class world school district, it takes the village. That's what we say where I come from. And we are part of that village. We have been working with these students since November or early December. We meet every 2 weeks. We had a large group. They come from all over the school district. We started by meeting Dr. Graham, and I would like at this point to say thank you on behalf of NAACP, on behalf of AXA, and I was told to say this, thank you. Please clap for Dr. Graham for the work. Dr. Graham said this is a great program for closing the achievement gap, and these students have done an incredible job. There are many others who did not get awards, but they are also winners too. We are very honored about that. I have a team that we work together. Let them just say one word, 1 minute. They not take long, Mr. Chairman, and then we move on. Christina.
Well, he's forcing me to speak again, but I just want to congratulate all the winners again and thank the school board for the awards. Thank you.
I would be remiss tonight on any occasion to not give honor to my mom, who supports me in everything I do. And as a role model, I love her so much, and I want you to stand, Mama. She's been with us from the beginning. I learned a long time ago, you live a long time if you respect your parents. Amen.
I would like to ask Mrs. Mickey Stroh, Mrs. Mary Ellen Montana, and Miss Sarah LeMay to please join me at the lectern. Mrs. Stroh is the district's coordinator for social studies, fine arts, character education, and AVID. Ms. Montana is the art teacher, and Ms. LeMay is a 10th grade student at Lehigh Senior High School. The winner for the Character Education Digital Design Competition for the month of April is Sarah LeMay. The school board and superintendent are pleased to congratulate Sarah for her creative design and for supporting character education in our school. And this is her work, and it's spectacular.
Good evening. Jackie Corey asked that I give her apologies for not being here this evening. She is working with teachers, and she also has a SAC meeting, so her administration is also very busy. I just wanted to make it known that Lehigh Senior High School has won this award 3 times this year. They are doing outstanding work with digital design and creating images that truly do represent our character education words of the month.
Good evening. The Florida State Thespian Festival is an exhilarating gathering of the best high school thespians from across the state. By showcasing student talent, these festivals provide an opportunity to exchange ideas and learning from others. This year we have split this recognition to be presented at 2 board meetings due to the high number of students to be recognized and also to the fact that all high schools involved were unable to attend the same board meeting due to prior commitments. We recognized 66 students at the April 1st school board meeting. The Lee County School District was well represented at this year's festivals, with a large number of students being selected for various awards. I would like to introduce these students, their principals, and their teachers to you. As I call your name, please come forward and line up in front of the board table to have your picture taken with board members and superintendent. We will take individual pictures of each school's group of honorees. First, from Estero High School, Principal George Clover and teacher Janae Stevens. Along with their students, Eduardo Marin and Savannah Faulkner.
I just want to say that over the years, I've had the privilege of working with a lot of schools, both the Center of the Arts schools from Cypress, and I really value the people in the arts, and I'm so proud of our students at Estero. Thank you for what you've been doing.
Thank you. Congratulations. And now from Mariner High School, Principal Dr. Robert Butts, teacher Patricia Stout, students Alexis Bass and Giselle Casterman. Please come forward. And now from North Fort Myers High School, Principal Dale Houchin and teacher Michelle Whitener. Students Noelle Aparte, Alicia Conrad, Danielle Krager, Cameron Hafner, Sierra Boers, Abby Brewster, Tim Serrano, Sarah Hammond, Sam Bowling, Audrey Warboys, Victor Simonelli, Chase Wingard, Rosemarie Cosentino, Tara Swain, Francesca Marucci, and Cassidy Kelly. That's quite a crowd. Awesome. Go Red Knights. And last this evening, but not least, from Ida Baker High School, Principal Melissa Robery and teacher Laura Licata. With them are students Brenda Chavez, Efrain Lopez, J.D. Willen, Julia Rivera, Emily Snell, Roselle Weinstein, Kimberly Chappelle, Tiffany Foley, Hannah Rich, David Prey, David Beneventi, Laura Glynn, Nick Contreras, Kayla Clements, Ryan Hoyt, Maria Prada, Cole Delamata, Adriana Riviera, Ryan Polanco, Chase Vieira, Danielle Gillies, Jade Ball, Samantha Licata, Damian Maynard, Chandra Mazerli, Lillian Fuller, and Brianna Morales. Congratulations. Come on, girls, down this way.
I would like to invite Ms. Jamie Michael, President of the Support Personnel Association of Lee County, to please join me at the lectern. 62 years ago, National Secretaries Week was created to honor and recognize secretaries for their contributions to the workplace and to attract people to secretarial careers. 49 years later, the title of this annual observance was changed to Administrative Professionals Week, to acknowledge that the role of the office professional had undergone many changes and to recognize the expanding responsibilities and expertise of these individuals. The role of administrative professionals has continued to evolve even more over the past 14 years due to new tools, techniques, and seismic shifts in the economy and culture itself. But these individuals have remained at the center of office efficiency, ensuring that tasks are accomplished correctly, on time, and under budget, while maintaining their more traditional role as the gatekeepers for many customers, clients, and employees. And this is for you, Jamie. Would you like to say something?
Dr. Graham, Chairman Scott, and the board, I want to thank you for all the employees across the district that do so many things for everyone. They have taken on more roles with the budget cuts, and everyone continues to work hard, and they're making that leap too remarkable. Thank you.
I forgot to turn the page, so we need to keep going. Mr. Chairman, in recognition and appreciation of the daily contributions of the school district's dedicated administrative professionals, I move for adoption of the resolution proclaiming the week of April 20th through 26th, 2014 as Administrative Professionals Week.
Mr. Armstrong, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite Rick Tully, Professional Development Resource Teacher for Environmental Education and Science, and the Environmental Education Monday Group students to please join me at the lectern. This year marks the 44th anniversary of Earth Day, a day that was created to promote environmental awareness and to highlight the importance of protecting our planet. And students, teachers, and staff of the Lee County Schools are eager to do their share. Acknowledging that it is everyone's responsibility to preserve the earth, the school district's environmental education program is teaching our youth to take care of their environment for their future. In partnership with local environmentalists, students engage in campus cleanups, landscaping projects, and recycling efforts throughout the year. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of the resolution proclaiming April 22nd, 2014 as Earth Day, with the local theme of celebrating the past and inspiring the future.
Motion, is there a second? Second. Second by Mrs. Dozier. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And Mr. Tully, I'd like to
The same year that the nation celebrated Earth Week, the School District of Lee County started teaching a new class called the Monday Group. And each year since then, the Monday Group has continued the tradition of stimulating and instigating positive change in Lee County. 6 Mile Cypress Slough Preserve and Manatee Park and the Eagle Ordinance are among the accomplishments of the Monday Group. This year's Monday Group students are working to celebrate the past and inspire the future. And on April 23rd, we'll be unveiling an inspirational plaque and monument at 6 Mile Cypress Slough Preserve to continue that tradition. So thank you for this resolution and for once again establishing Earth Week in Lee County Schools. I'd like to introduce some of this year's Monday Group students. John Schoendorf, Elvis Galani, Jason Tillotson, Lily Meneno, Justin Pelly, Marissa Canova, and a former Monday Group student and current staff and teacher of the Monday Group, Joelle Hammis. And for the last several years during Earth Week, we have flown the Earth flag, and I'd invite you again to consider that. And if it is your pleasure, I'll provide the Earth flag to our security staff for flying. Thank you.
I would like to invite Lieutenant Colonel William Zikovic, JRTC Operations Officer, and I'm sorry I just butchered your name, and Commander Sergeant Major Sean Bram, JRT Instructor at South Fort Myers High School, to please join me at the lectern. Our military forces have played a major role in the development of our country, as chronicled through the steadfast honor, their dedication to duty, and the love of country. The freedom and security that we are, as citizens of the United States, enjoy today are direct results of the diligence of our armed forces. As the 16th anniversary of National Military Appreciation Month approaches, the school board urges all citizens to join us in recognizing and thanking the brave men and women, current and past, who comprise America's military forces. It is through their service and sacrifice that the defense and protection of our great country has been and continues to be provided. Mr. Chairman, I proudly move to the adoption of installation proclaiming May 2014 as National Military Appreciation Month.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. For all who served or are serving now to protect the freedoms granted to us by our Constitution, I'd like to thank the board and the superintendent for this recognition. This resolution is an expression of the support and appreciation our whole community feels towards the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who sacrifice so much on our behalf. Thank you very much.
Mr. Jack Wagner to please come forward. And please introduce your gathering throng.
Okay, fantastic. I shall. I'm Jack Wagner. I'm the president of the board of directors for Pride and Patriotism, the event that takes place at Barbara B. Mann every November around Veterans Day, honoring our veterans, but actually it's youth celebrating the arts and honoring our veterans. The program, which began back in 2003, was basically derived for the fact of putting children with our veterans to honor them and showing the artistic talents of the kids that we have in the student body. This year, I'm extremely honored to have Dr. Nancy Graham sing the national anthem. Maybe she'll do it again this year. Maybe. That was a maybe. But anyway, we in appreciation of that, what we want to do is show our grateful appreciation by presenting a plaque to the school district of Lee County, representing our grateful appreciation of everything you guys have provided to us in support. You've been partners with us from the beginning, and we hope to continue a good partnership in the future. Randy, would you like to say something?
I'm Randy Moody. I'm the operations officer for Pride and Patriotism. And Pride and Patriotism of Lee County connects the students of our school district with the 62 veterans organizations in Lee County, attempting to help them to gain an appreciation for the freedoms they have because of the sacrifices of our veterans, and to hopefully instill in them an appreciation for what has been done for them, the value of our Constitution, and the beauty of the United States of America. And we are proud to partner with the Lee County School District in this patriotic education program. I believe now, Alan will have something?
Alan, why don't you read the plaque? What a guy.
Always tough to have a leader telling you what to do from behind. Especially when he's looking at integrity as the first step to true greatness. And we've seen that over and over and over again this evening. So without further ado, let me read this plaque. Assuming that all of us can read, I'm going to do it for those that can't. In grateful appreciation to the school district of Lee County for the continued support of our youth celebrating the arts and honoring our veterans projects. From the 62 veterans organizations plus within Lee County, we thank you immensely.
Thank you guys for everything you're doing. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. We hope to see you all at Pride and Patriotism this year. We'll have tickets for you. Very good. And thank you all again. Thank you so much. Okay. Picture.
Almost forgot my eyes.
This time we'll take a very brief break. Any of those who would like to leave, this is the time to do it. We'll get started.
Come on, where'd my program go? Here it is.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Martin, would you please address that agenda item?
School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a card and submitted that to me before the meeting began, you'll be called in the order of the card submitted. If you did not submit a card but still wish to address the school board this evening, the school board chair, Mr. Scott, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment to the school board are posted at the back of the room and include the requirement that any speaker who wishes to address the school board to endorse the purchase of a product or a service in which that speaker has a personal interest, the speaker must reveal that interest before making comment to the board. School board policy also requires that presenters confine their remarks to educationally relevant issues. Attacks on individuals and abusive comments will not be allowed. The school board does not respond during public comment time to remarks made by speakers. At the conclusion of public comment time, the school board chair may address concerns raised by speakers or may assign responsibility to the superintendent to do so. The time allowed per speaker is 3 minutes. Mr. Scott, I have 2 cards this evening.
Is there anyone on the right side who did not fill out a card that wishes to speak? Mr. Castellano. On the left side. Please call the first card.
First speaker this evening is Mr. Kevin Regal. Sir.
Okay. Last board meeting, I spoke with a heavy heart in regards to bringing up issues of student education and athlete safety being put in jeopardy by administration at Lehigh Senior High School last year. As I have more to uncover, let me recap the first 2 dire issues that I previously addressed. Number 1, about 100 students last year in algebra in a teacher's class were cheated out of their legal rights to education for a period of time when administration put in a paraprofessional. This paraprofessional was inserted into the classroom to teach. Per state statutes and law, a paraprofessional cannot teach alone. As previously stated, this paraprofessional had notified other math teachers and myself, notified the head of the math department, assistant principals, that the principal put her in this position and she should not be teaching alone. Unfortunately, nothing was done about it. What we need to do is note that I personally witnessed her teaching alone during this time period when she was a paraprofessional. We can line up all of the approximate 100 students as witnesses as well, and they would tell you the same thing. So the question is, what's stopping us from taking care of this? Is it the threat of 100 lawsuits that's stopping us from taking action and helping students, many of whom did not pass the end-of-year exam or the algebra as a result? Number 2, I also told of an employee at Lehigh Senior High that was sounded as supervisor by the principal and athletic director, although he was not a supervisor. This employee had previously, during his employment, been convicted on misdemeanors for battery, touch or strike, domestic violence, and disorderly intoxication in a public place, yet he was sent around kids. I notified the principal and the athletic director that he was staring at my athletes, yet this was dismissed. The principal and athletic director put him in to coach boys soccer in the fall of 2012 last year. A few weeks later, he was arrested and later convicted of 3 felonies for pedophilia. His students' safety were put at risk. What do we say to the boys' soccer team? What do we say to the people that this person went around? I don't even know. Number 3, during the same period of time, a now current Lehigh Senior High social studies teacher was arrested for a DUI. This was just prior to him being hired. He had his license revoked for 6 months, but ended up driving the 2012 cross-country team around in a van during this time period. Now, the school district has stated he was given a court order to be allowed to drive to and from work, but court orders usually do not allow driving around the students at work. If a judge signed off on this, I would love to see it. We still have yet to see this documentation. At the time of his arrest, per public record, this employee was arrested driving drunk and had a minor in the car during his arrest. How many board members or parents would let their son or daughter get into a vehicle with a man that was arrested for drunk driving and had a minor in the car while he was drunk?
Thank you, Mr. Regula. Your time is up, sir. Next speaker is Ms. Lori Fahey.
I'm Lori Fahey. I'm here to talk about the FCAT again. The test started this week, as you all know. I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting, but I am recording it, so I do hope you'll respond. I'm here tonight because I'd like to ask you all to make some changes in our district to allow for children whose parents refuse the test to be able to do something other than sit and stare or miss school. The only options for our kids right now are that they either sit the 70 minutes and while the test is going on, or they have to stay home. I believe the FCAT tests and makeup tests are about 13 days. I don't remember if it's 13 or 15. But that's a long time to have a child out of school. I'm keeping my son home for the tests right now. There are a lot of other districts that allow for the children to have learning opportunities while the other kids are taking the test. I know not all parents want to refuse, but there's also other districts that allow the kids to quietly read a book or even go into classes where they aren't being tested so that they can help to mentor the younger kids. And I would hope that our district would come up with something like this. We all know that the children get no benefit from the FCAT or from high-stakes standardized tests. Next year it'll be the AIR. It's going to be the same thing. 40% of these kids will fail, and we know that before the tests are ever put on the desk. 85% of kids like my son with dyslexia will fail. And there's a lot of damage. This is life-altering for these kids. I will not gamble with my son. And those are bad odds, if anyone would. So I'm asking you to please consider making some changes so that these kids can do something besides sit and stare during the 70 minutes of the test, or, like my son is having to do, stay home. I appreciate your time.
Mr. Castellano.
Good evening, Dr. Graham, school board. I'm Mark Castellano, president of the Teachers Association of Lee County. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated and sponsored our first Talc Dollars for Scholars 5K 10 days.
Sorry. Please turn on the microphone.
Okay, that's better. I just want to say thank you. We were very nervous. Wednesday evening, we were sitting there with 46 registrations, and we were kind of panicking. And on Saturday evening, when the race started, we had 105. We had over 20 walk-ups, and it just went off really, really well. We had about 112 registrations altogether. I want to especially thank Dr. Greg Atkins, Christy Coots, Keith Martin, for being there and participating in the race and running. They all beat me. Christy, though. No, Christy didn't. She had a whole posse with her, though. And I want to thank Dr. Connie Jones and Martha Hayes for generous donations that they made as well. And if there's anybody else here that made a donation or a couch registration, as we had, that I'm not mentioning, I apologize. But I want to thank everyone. It was a great success. Bigger and better next year. I hope all of you will be participating with us when we do it next year at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Graham, do you have any response you can provide for Ms. Fahey and her concern? Where are we with those kinds of situations right now? Or is that something you need to have private conversation with her about?
Well, I think there have been multiple conversations, but we have nothing in place for parents who opt out. I don't know the numbers on how many there are. I would tell you it's few. And we're expected by the state to expect children to take the test unless the parents opt out. And I will tell you, if I'm directed by the board to try and figure something out, obviously we'll do that. I will tell you that there is nary a staff member that isn't doing something related to the tests while they're going on. I would suggest that no one's going to be out of school for 13 days. The tests they're taking this week vary from 70 to 90 minutes, and it's a long period it's a window of time for the tests, but different children are taking different portions on different days. Part of that is the portions that have to be online we have to spread out. So for a child to stay out 13 days, I would find that difficult to validate, but I'll certainly look into, if you all want me to, what other districts are doing. But this district has never provided a non-testing environment during testing because the expectation is that all children will be testing. And when I tell you every nook and cranny of the building and every person, non-instructional and instructional, has a role in making it work, they are all doing something to make it work. But
I think I'd like to begin with knowing how many opt out before we move any other
that we can find
obstacles out of the way. So if you could provide that to us in email form, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Mark, if you could make that a 5K crawl or something, I might try and join next year. May take 2 days to get done, but congratulations on that. And I think you pulled it together in a pretty short period of time, but got a lot of great participation out of it. So we thank you for your energy and the people who helped you with that, and particularly those who participated and beat you. Next on the agenda is approval of action items under consent. I'll first ask if any of the board members have items they would like to pull, beginning with Ms. Fisher.
I have no pulls this evening. Thank you.
Dozier.
None.
Ms. Morgan.
I have one. Item 4C on page 101.
Strong.
I think, Dr. Graham, I told you I had 10.
You did.
I'm just kidding. I have none.
I believe Ms. Morgan was referring to 6C, which is actually superintendent's recommendation on page 101, so it would not need to be pulled.
Okay. Okay. So we have no pulls then. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Fisher, second by Mrs. Dozier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries 5-0. There are no unfinished items to deal with, so we'll move to superintendent's recommendations. Item 6B. Dr. Graham.
Approval of ITN number N137107GN for floor covering awarded to Acousti Engineering Company of Florida and Wayne Wiles floor coverings for the period of May 18th, 2014 through May 17th, 2015 at the estimated annual expenditure of $1,500,000 pursuant to the same terms and conditions as previously approved by the board. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Motion by Ms. Dozier, second by Mrs. Morgan. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item C, please.
Approval to award RFP number R147173GN for consulting services for strategic planning to Urban Policy Development, LLC, at the estimated cost to the district of $248,000 for the first year as indicated on the attached tabulation sheet for the one-year period beginning April 15th, 2014 through April 14th, 2015, with renewal options for 2 additional one-year periods upon the written agreement of the vendor in the district. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all documents.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Motion by Ms. Dozier, second by Mrs. Morgan. Discussion. Mrs. Morgan.
I'm not going to be supporting this for the same reason I articulated previously. First of all, the 3-year strategic planning process is in violation of board policy. And secondly, it is my belief that we don't have enough information to set real goals for a real strategic planning process.
Discussion? Mrs. Dozier?
Well, I will be supporting it. It's my understanding that this is something that you have asked for, and it is wanting to begin the process, and at some point you have to begin the process. And when you look at phase 1, conduct, project kickoff, develop, project charter, create community forum, logistic needs, that's the first phase. And then the second phase, gather stakeholder input. In fact, district and community, that's something that's done in any quality organization. Identify organizational strengths and weaknesses. There it is right there. You're going to identify what the strengths are. I certainly hope that there are strengths, and we certainly know what some of the weaknesses are. Develop needs and assets, analysis report. Let's see, there's phase, I mean, this is a complete, being involved with the quality process, Sterling and Baldridge, for many years now. I think that this is detailed. I think it's well done. I commend the superintendent on putting this together. And it was my understanding, Dr. Graham, please tell me if I'm incorrect, that just because it is $248,000, it doesn't mean that all of those funds will be expended. Is that correct?
The $248,000 will cover getting us the plan and the action plans for us to begin to work with.
Okay.
So, but I think what we talked about, the money will not even begin to go out until FY15.
Okay, and I apologize. I should have asked you this ahead of time, but I didn't realize this was going to be pulled because I thought this was something that everybody at the board had agreed on and everybody wanted. Do you know what expense the district went to back in 2005? Yeah, 2005. Do you know what the payout was then when we were going through the process? Do you have any idea?
I know my training was probably about $10,000, and then we spent $45,000 for a facilitator to come in and do the first 3 days of steering and the steering committee, and then we spent countless man hours that I would have to, I don't know if I'd have to figure out a way to quantify that. I would tell you this is probably more, but this is a group. It's not one person doing it, and we called several districts that they've worked with, one of them being in the Boston area, who has received recognition and awards for their quality strategic plan. And every district we spoke with said they were outstanding to work with, that the product was wonderful. One district was very sorry because their state got involved and stopped the strategic planning process. And the person that one of our staff talked to said we were very, very disappointed because their plan and their work with us was moving us in the right direction. Because what they offer, what would happen the second and third year is that they would continue to work with us to be sure that the action plans are being implemented, and they have the school stat is just a framework to actually statistically keep track of whether or not you're doing what the plan says whether or not you actually do what you say you're going to do.
And I just heard you say that you checked with other school districts.
Yes.
You checked with other organizations that they have been involved
Yes.
with, and all of you were satisfied with the high quality of work that was the end result.
Absolutely. And they came here and we met with them.
Okay. All right, I can support that. Thank you.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes. Have they worked in the state of Florida also, this particular LLC?
Susan's still here. I don't remember if they've worked in Florida or not. Do you? Okay. The states we called were Texas, Kansas, Massachusetts, and the size of the districts varied.
Mm-hmm.
Some larger, some smaller than ours.
Okay. So over the course of 3 years, then we'll be spending $750,000 approximately.
I don't think so.
No. Well,
It's
okay.
not 248,000 each year. It's 248,000 the first year.
Plus 193,000 for school stat.
That's an option that we have not agreed to, and that comes much later in the process.
Okay, so
That's the part that you statistically keep track of your, what you've said in the strategic plan that you're going to do.
right. And we have staff working on that right now. Is that, am I
Working on what?
on the strategic plan? On
Have not begun the process. We're waiting for this to be approved.
Okay, so where it says estimated cost of $248,000 for the first year,
That's
with
phase one.
renewal options for 2 additional one-year periods upon the written agreement of the vendor and the district. So is the renewal free then, or is?
No, but it's not $248,000. I'm going to have Susan explain the
okay.
expense structure. Thank you, Susan.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Graham. The question was, is there a renewal cost of $248,000? And the answer is no. The way that the RFP is established is after we do the initial planning phases, we'll assess where we want to go from there. We'll have the opportunity to have our staff trained in strategic planning, and then we can determine what level of support we want from the vendor as we go forward. So we can choose to develop some of the work in-house. We can choose to have some or a larger portion of support from the consultant. And the school stat offering is mentioned because it is a tool for metrics and performance management, and the district seems to be driven towards not only data collection but data analysis, and that is a feature that this vendor offers. So we wanted to make sure we included that in the agenda so that as we go forward and evaluate this vendor's performance and how they can assist us, we may consider utilizing that licensed software product, collecting the data, using their tools to extract that data and report on it as we go through our action plans. So in subsequent years, we can choose to have support for development of action plans, or we can do that ourselves, and annually we will assess that and make a decision as to how to proceed.
And the reason we included it all, even though we may not spend it, I didn't want to experience what we've experienced with a vendor that you all were unhappy with not so long ago. So I wanted it all on the table to start with, that this is where we might be going. Obviously, we would bring it back to you with each phase, but the $248,000 is for the phases that are listed in the agenda item.
Mrs. Morgan, did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, I want to respond. First of all, I have begged for a strategic plan, that there is no doubt. And my objection is not to the money, and my objection is not to the firm. My concern is that we're doing this before we're ready to do it. The word goal does not appear in items 1 through 5. And I am concerned that what we are embarking on is a continuous improvement process, a process management process, but not a strategic planning process, not as it has been articulated. That is why I am not supporting it.
Mr. Armstrong?
I'm still a little confused, so please bear with me on this. So the first year is, what, 248, but after that I didn't hear a figure. We just evaluated after that?
After the completion of the strategic plan,
After the first year, yes.
well, that'll be the first 3 months of the program. Then we will develop action plans of how we will execute the strategic plan. So we'll start with the grand goals, and we'll break it down into manageable pieces that we can track and perform. Okay, those are the action plans. We will have this team work closely with many people from our staff to develop those action plans, and then we'll do the action plans. And then as we come up on our 1-year anniversary, we will assess our progress against our goals, and if we need to tweak our goals, and tweak our strategic plan. And at that point, we will say, are we confident enough we can develop these action plans going forward on our own? Do we still feel we need some coaching? Or do we need them to come in here and lay out and facilitate meetings and take the lead in developing the following year's action plans? So it is undetermined, and we get to choose based on our relationships and the vendor's performance and our staffing and our budget, how we want to proceed each year.
And if you, Mr. Armstrong, if you look at the phases, the big chunks are phase 2 and phase 3. Once we have the plan, those won't need to be repeated anytime soon. The additional support, which is phase 5, which is $48,000, that might be something if we want additional action plans or we feel we need some coaching. The only other large number is the $193,000, which is a 10-month process of gathering the metrics, and we have not committed to that, but we did ask them to cost it out for us, so I wanted to bring it all up front, so to not be accused later of not sharing everything at the onset. So the big chunks are phase 2 and phase 3, and those we have no anticipation of repeating in the next 3 years.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will be supporting this tonight, because I know we...
In 2005, this plan, the way it is put together, is almost identical to the plan that we put together when we did the strategic plan at that time.
The steps are very similar.
The difference being that this is a company that is doing this, and at the time, and I'm not going to ask you what your salary was back then, Dr. Graham. I'm not going to. I'm not going to embarrass you or ask you that, but as a board, collectively, we chose to have someone trained, and we worked very closely with the Sterling Quality Organization. We worked very closely with local gurus of quality and strategic planning, and they said, you know, you really should have somebody on staff that, you know, is your go-to, your guru, and, you know, they've got to be able to be given, you know, certain authority, you know, to make certain decisions. And I mean, that was a decision that we wrestled and got our arms around and made that decision. Well, at this time, you know, we've got somebody here that's trained, but she's also doing double duty. I mean, she's doing another duty as the superintendent. We could certainly take her out of that duty and let her do, let her do, you know, and because I know she could do this in a heartbeat, because I know she got her Six Sigma and at the bequest of the board, and I think that this, you know, we can talk and I heard earlier at a workshop we talked about we can talk and talk and talk about something, but you know, at some point you got to, you know, fish or cut bait. Well, okay, you know, I'm going to go fishing and see if we can do something. So here we go.
Other comments? I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the like sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Move now to other business and board member comments. We'll start with Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll actually keep this pretty short tonight. First, I wanted to say it's nice to meet you, to our new student liaison. I know you'll really enjoy being up here for the... It's definitely different, I'm sure. Second, I had the opportunity last Thursday to go see a musical, Music Man, at North Myers Academy of the Arts. It's a great performance. I was just, the things those students do, you would almost think that you're in a Broadway show. It shows a lot of dedication to the parents, the teachers, and all the people that work behind there, putting those shows on, getting those students ready. And yes, I brag about it a little bit. I'm sorry, but you know, my daughter was in it as well, so I had a reason to brag a little. Dr. Santini did a great job, and The other thing I did want to talk about a little bit is I also had the opportunity to go to STEMatic here in the district. And each year it grows bigger and bigger. And there was so many people and so many displays, and all the schools that put on the different displays here were something else. You can see a lot of hard work went into this, and a lot of the kids, we watch them running around going from one booth to the next booth to the next booth, enjoying themselves. And I also want to, I know a lot of our students out there and the teachers in the schools are working on FCAT right now. And the dedication from them is just something else. I'm sure everybody will do well, and I can't wait to see how these scores come back. That's it.
Mrs. Morgan.
Welcome, Cindy. Nice to have you here. When we were talking about the accreditation this afternoon, the foundation keeps coming up, and so I just wanted to shout out to the foundation. 2 Saturdays ago, I went to see STEMtastic. As Mr. Armstrong said, it is a fabulous event, and I just wish people in the community could see what our students are doing and learning in school. I particularly want to cite Heights Elementary, whose students did all of the instruction. There were no parent or staff doing the demonstration, coaching students, coaching participants, which I thought was terrific. I also want to do a shout out to Dunbar and FMIT. They both had a number of tables set up, and I thought it was great to see things that for the young people to be able to see things that they could aspire to at the high school level and at the postgraduate level. The Dunbar was just awesome. And also a shout out to the staff in the building, because I came in here Monday morning for a meeting, and you would not believe, this place was spotless. Absolutely spotless. And when you saw some of the materials that were being thrown around on Saturday, you would have found that very hard to believe. So kudos to everybody who was involved with that. Also, this past Friday, went to the Golden Apple, another foundation event, another extraordinary recognition of what our teachers are doing in this district. It's always great to see the very different kinds of things that teachers are doing to support students in various aspects of their academic career. It was a wonderful event. And then, Saturday afternoon, Dancing Classrooms, another foundation event. This one's celebrating kids in 7 Title I schools. Always fun to watch, because these elementary kids come out, and I'm sure the first time they start dancing lessons, they're afraid to touch one another. But they're told to hold their pancakes out, and the boys' pancakes underneath and the girls' pancakes on top, and that's where they start. And they are the most gracious, well-mannered, just thoroughly absorbed students, and it's just a delight to watch. So I just wanted to say a special thank you to the foundation. The last 10 days have been fabulous. I know they put there's a lot of effort done by their staff, and I think that needs acknowledgement. So those are my comments.
Dozier.
Thank you. I went to Construction Advisory, and the big news from Construction Advisory is the fact that Construction Advisory has had an aha moment, and they have given us some specific ideas on what we need to do as far as preparing to go out for a referendum. And I know that they are continuing to wrestle with that. This is the 3rd month in a row that we've had discussions around that, and I believe that we may kind of bring our discussion to a close within the next the next meeting, and I will be bringing hopefully a recommendation from them to the board. I also had the opportunity to go to the Alliance of the Arts for Future of the Arts, the elementary exhibit, And, if you haven't had the opportunity, I think they've already pulled that exhibit now because I think the high school exhibit starts tomorrow. But if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the artwork of the students in Lee County, it is absolutely unbelievable to see the capabilities and the end result of what these kids produce. Because, I'll go to the senior high or the secondary level opening. I go to these every year, and I was so impressed with the work from these elementary students. It was like, oh my gosh, an elementary student did that? And the parents were, there probably were, I would say, at least 500 people there, and they were all so proud of their students. And I was saying, you want me to take your camera? I'll take a picture of you, because Mom was taking a picture of the student by their artwork, and it was just such a great event at the Alliance of the Arts. I also had the opportunity to attend the congressional debate, and the reason I'm bringing that up is, first of all, I hope everybody gets out and votes, because that is your way to exercise what you want as far as government is concerned. And I advocate for everybody to go out. I think right now the early voting is going on, and I would encourage everybody to get out, because the way I look at it, the one thing that I was always taught is, and I always told my kids in social studies, that you don't have the right to complain unless you try to do something about it, and that is your way of letting your voice be heard, is to go out and vote. So I encourage everybody to get out, and please do this. Monday we also had a legislative call, even though the legislative, all the legislature, they took a break this week because of Easter week. They didn't have any meetings going on the floor, but there was some committee stuff going on. Let me give you an update from the last time we spoke about where we are as far as with our priority issues. One priority issue, and today's Tuesday, but this week is your opportunity to use this week to contact any of our legislative delegation on any burning issue that you have. They're at home, they're in their home offices, and they want to hear from you. If you'd like to contact them about something that I'm going to talk about, something that you're concerned about as far as our, where we're going with certain issues, then by all means, pick up the phone this week. I encourage you to call them. As far as the Lee Board expansion, President, he'd love me calling him that. I'll have to tell him that. Senator Munford is carrying that amendment, and it was added, and it's going to be going to the Senate floor on the 27th. The House has accepted the language that he's put forth, and there is little risk that the bill won't pass, but it looks like the only thing that could happen is if they, in fact, the way Mr. Sarah put it, is if they start trying to junk up the bill and just throw a lot of stuff at it and just to get it passed, because this is something that everybody's smiled and held hands and said we've done. In fact, I'm even going to ask that possibly we consider giving some kind of an award to Matt Caldwell for this, because the way he's doing it, it will benefit all counties in the state of Florida, not just Lee County. And it will not in the future, boards won't have to go through all of this, because he's got this amendment out there that will be something for all board members to look forward to in the future. The state accountability bills, it's not everything that we want, but the grading system, we know that we've got to have it, and we're going to have the new test. It will, it's going to pay us, and we will certainly let our voice be heard as far as what we want, and we know that they're going to suspend the penalties for the first year. That's something that I think that is a plus or a win, because even though the accountability piece and the testing is going to be there with the very first year of the test, The fact that they are suspending any fines that first year, I think, is a big plus. Charter schools, there was a little bit of I almost got a little bit of indigestion. There is something saying that if we have any facilities that are not being used, that a charter school could come in and they could rent that, and we basically have to agree to the fee that they set forth. And I don't know if we have any excess buildings like that.
Not that we're not using. I think we looked into that, and we're using all of ours.
Okay.
It's if we own a building that isn't being used for anything, it's open to be leased by the charter school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we don't have any. And I also said, what about land? Because I was hearing and I heard a building a facility anyway. Let's see. It looks like the ESE voucher amendments. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but there is going to be something with that, which is going to create learning accounts for ESE students. And, we want to do what is in the best interest of kids, but, we're not sure that the way the bill is passing it, while it may sound good, it may not be in the best interest of the students. Community affairs, the budget conforming bill on retirement. Folks, we are all experiencing that they are slowly taking chunks out of the retirement system, and what will end up if it continues down this road. I really feel for future employees. Because it doesn't look good with what is happening there. Again, I want to say that hazardous walking conditions. That's something that could be one of those things that could come back and bite us later on. We have got to be able to prove that we have had conversations with the counties and the cities to address any hazard, and we have a lot of hazardous walking conditions here in Lee County. We have got to show we're going to have to be able to show some kind of proof that we actually have had these conversations with them, and I'm sure that we can document the fact that we have done that along our bus. It's everywhere. I mean, it's my understanding when I read it that it's along any of the bus routes where students have to walk or anything like that. So I'm sure that we will be able to keep the documentation that we have to make sure that this is something that we do. But again, and where the budget will go, we're not sure. It's still up in the air. It looks like the legislature will, they've got a lot of work left ahead, but that's nothing unusual. The last week is like mayhem. If any of you have ever had an opportunity to be up there during the last week of session, I mean, bills are flying back and forth, and it's hard to really keep up with what's going on. But it looks like the session will end on time, and they will come up with a budget. What that budget looks like, we hope that it's in between the Senate and the House. And I would again invite or encourage any of you to look at our priorities, and if there's anything that you have questions about, I would ask that you call Mr. Sarah, and if there's any burning issues that you have about anything, contact our representatives. Let's see. Sydney, welcome. We didn't bite you too bad, did we?
No.
All right. In fact, I asked her earlier about did she have her 3 to 5 minute speech ready for this evening, and she says absolutely. She didn't miss a beat. Usually the kids, I've asked every student that, and their mouth has just dropped open. But boy, she wants to be a communication major, so she didn't miss a beat. She says absolutely, she had it ready. So boy, she put me in my place real quick. But welcome. It's been a delight to have you here at the table tonight. And I don't know if my question got answered, but have you had an opportunity to have a meeting with these people since?
No, but we have it on the agenda to talk to them. Dr. Spiro is going to take that on to have students at the June. There's one in July, I think, at the end of July. So June,
very end of July.
July, and then we'll start again in August.
July is a special meeting, I think.
think that's a special meeting.
There will be a regular meeting.
It'll be there's 2 in June and one at the end of July.
Special meetings for budget.
Well, my desire is if any of these students want to be here, because it's just, I think it's great to have them here. I think it's great to have their input. And I know they have not been shy about speaking up. They have not been shy about letting us know their issues and the issues that are going out in the schools. And I hope that we and I know as seniors, some of you are going to fly away and be on your merry way, but some of the underclassmen might be willing to come back and do this over the summer. So
we have that on the agenda.
With that, good luck to all the students that are taking the FCAT, and I will tell you that somebody told me the other day, luck doesn't count in these tests, because if you're not prepared, then luck doesn't get it. Well, I don't know. Some kids used to think luck, with the Christmas tree worked. But anyway, I want to wish all the students the very best, and hope that you do extremely well. And I've written a couple of articles for a couple of papers, and I gave a list of things that you can do. And I hope that there are no students. Students can still be up, but in about 20 minutes you need to be in bed, you need to be resting, you need to get you something to eat in the morning, you need to take deep breaths before you get yourself, too stressed out over the test, and don't stay on any one question too long. And anyway, there was a whole litany of them. But anyway, thank you, and that's all I have this evening.
Ms. Fisher.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to be redundant, so I'm going to ditto what Mrs. Morgan said about the foundation events, Golden Apple, STEMtastic, and Dancing Classrooms. Awesome. And thanks to the people who support the foundation. It does take a village to raise a child. Doing my school visits the past week or so, I took the time to visit 5 of our Cape Coral charter schools, and I just wanted to compliment them on the work they do, the way their facilities looked, and thank them for being our partners in education. Sydney, thank you for taking the plunge and sitting with us tonight. I know you're an awesome girl, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and look forward to seeing you again next time. And our Curriculum Advisory Committee continues to explore a lot of the issues, like the retirement issue that you mentioned being worked on in the legislature, Mrs. Dozier, the teacher shortage, and many other things. And I just want to thank the people on our advisory committees for volunteering their time and sharing their ideas and being committed to supporting us in education. The School Health Advisory met on April the 10th, and they continue to support health education, and they are looking for some enforcement of the tobacco policy. I had an opportunity to attend North Fort Myers High change of command ROTC ceremony, and it was incredibly amazing and just, gives you goosebumps. The outcome of the ROTC program is that they are producing kids who are true leaders and have real goals and just make a tremendous showing. So I was very grateful to be invited to that. And with that, thank you to all the staff for all the hard work that you do, and let's keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Brooke Kaiser.
Well, I did have a 3-page essay prepared, but I suppose I can keep it short. I'd like to start by thanking the board and Dr. Graham for the opportunity to be here. I'd also like to thank my mom for helping mold me into the young lady I am today. I just feel so honored to be a part of such an amazing community. I don't think I've had to shake this many hands in a long time, and I'm just so touched to see all the people making such large impacts in our community. One thing that I would like to announce, Bonnie and Clyde will be showing the 23rd and 25th at 7. I know a couple of you guys mentioned the plays. It should be a good one. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. It's great to have you with us, and I look forward to you being here at the next meeting. Last Friday, we went to Allen Park. Dr. Graham was there, Ms. Fisher, and number of the principals, the governor, and he handed us this check for $3,523,450. This is lottery money coming home to schools that have performed well. And it is going to be divided amongst those schools who were participants in the success. That can use it for salaries, they can use it for any number of things that they think are important to have in their schools. But it was great to have the governor there. He spent a considerable amount of time meeting with kids, shaking hands with them. And you could see their little faces. Who is this guy? But after a while, I think it started to sink in with all of them. But this is a pretty special deal as far as we're concerned. But I wanted to show it to you tonight. So I suppose it's been deposited in a nice account. We're going to earn a little money in the meantime.
Well, actually, it's been distributed, and I'm a little concerned because I just noticed it isn't signed.
I saw that too.
Didn't see that till
Maybe
just
we ought
now.
to send it back up there and get his signature on there. I too attended the congressional debate the other night that was held here in this facility. And I want to congratulate Dr. Graham, your staff, for the great work they did. It was a completely professional operation. It was broadcast on Wink live and on the radio as well, and taped for future viewing. But it was wonderful to have those people sitting up here answering questions. The audience was pretty much full, and that's the way we wanted to see it. So it sets up a nice opportunity for such things to occur here in this facility in the future. I too have nothing but praise for the foundation, having attended the Golden Apple again this last week. Friday, I guess it was. Yeah, Friday evening. Every time I look at those teachers, I think to myself, if they had said in the course of an interview for the job, this is how I'm going to approach my job, we never would have hired them. Because they're outside the box. It's a terminology nobody likes anymore. But it's true. And when you see the videos of how they operate in the classroom, they do things differently. They engage the students. They're with them every step of the way. And they encourage them. And they're pushing them without pushing them. And they get the results. So I congratulate the 6 winners. I got a big kick out of Joe at the end with the ponytail and his story. Every story was interesting, how they got there. They took roundabout ways with the exception of one teacher who was dedicated to getting to it right off the bat, but the rest of them came to it out of other careers, and I think that enhances their ability to do the job. Ms. Dozier said a while ago, Construction Advisory Committee had come to an aha moment. The Finance Committee has been grappling with the same issue, and I think it would be, if we have the opportunity, a good opportunity to bring both of those committees back in here and take a look at what are the real opportunities now, because those would be the most directly involved in what we're doing going forward in terms of satisfying our needs for space in the future and the capital needs that we have. We spoke this afternoon about the accreditation report and several items that were directly related to the board and our participation and our responsibility. I wanted to let everybody know that I had made a call this afternoon to Wayne Blanton's office and did speak to Andrea Messina and had a brief conversation about today's discussion. And she and Wayne will be talking on Friday about providing some dates for us where they can come down here and we can begin that discussion. And one last thing, in my other job several months ago, I work with small business people. One of the guys is a manufacturer. He we were having a one-on-one conversation, and he said, sure would be nice if we had something that allowed us to show off what is made in Southwest Florida, what's manufactured. And it's one of those deals where you kind of go, gee, why didn't I think about that? Tomorrow at Harborside, beginning at 9 in the morning, there's going to be a Made in Southwest Florida event with local manufacturers displaying their wares. We're going to have 3 or 4 busloads of our STEM students up there in the morning, meeting these people, seeing what they're doing, because as many of us have said repeatedly, not everybody's going to go to college. Some of our kids are coming out of school well skilled that they could step right into small manufacturing businesses, or maybe they've got ideas of their own. So that's on the calendar for tomorrow, and if any of you have the interest, it might be a nice thing just to run down there, because nobody's going to charge you anything to walk in the door and see what goes on. And I think you'll be amazed at some of the things that are made in Fort Myers that you have no idea about. So. Mr. Martin, have you got comments tonight?
Just one piece of information to share. This past week I had a conversation with Sharon Harrington, Supervisor of Elections, to inform her that the board is considering placing the issue of expansion to 7 members on the November ballot. She confirmed that she would need a resolution for that purpose from the school board by the 1st of July in order to place it on the November ballot. The board is scheduled on the 6th of May at that briefing meeting to have discussion on the different options that I presented to you before, the plan of apportionment, the methodology for election, and hopefully the board will be able to provide direction on that day. If so, I would anticipate bringing the resolution to the school board the first meeting in June, so we are able to get it to Ms. Harrington well before her deadline. That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Graham?
A little student assignment information. We had open enrollment from January 21st until March 28th, so it ended last week. And what we did this year was the equivalent to batches 1, 2, and 3. We did them all at once. We processed 17,064 applications. That's 797 more than last year. All but 437 of those applications were from current students either entering kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grade. There are others who want to change schools in other grades. We got 437 of those. 75.5% of all the applicants received their first choice school, and historically, as spring and summer go on, that will get closer to 90%. 93% of the applicants received one of their top 3 choices. And of those that were mandated to participate in open enrollment, again, the kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grade, 82% received their first choice, 96% received one of their top 3. 4,648 of the applications were processed online, and that's more than that's up 467 from last year. So people are taking advantage of the online process. And one of the reasons they're doing that is because we promised them they'll get their assignment a week earlier. And so Saturday, you can imagine my excitement. I texted you all when I started getting emails saying it's not working. So staff came in, and there was and maybe this will mean more to you than it did to me, but there was a web application logic error. And the staff figured out a way to get around it so that we could allow people to get in and see what they needed to see. That will be fixed for next year. The other note we've made is next year the rollout date for people to be able to look will be on a weekday. So people are in the office in case there is a glitch. They believe part of it was that the program was adjusted to have a first batch and then a second batch, and somewhere in there that got, I could read you all the details, but I'll just tell you it was a web application logic error that's been addressed. I don't know, Sydney didn't say much, but I hope you all noticed her name tag, and I'm pointing it out because Mrs. Robry's here. And our first student advisory meeting, Mrs. Robry's student from Ida Baker High School was the only one that had a name tag, and it said Superintendent's Advisory, and it had her name and the name of the school. And so Dr. Spiro and I very politely told the children they might want to go back and talk to their principals because Miss Robry had just made them all look really bad. And so over the course of time, the other students came with name tags, and Sydney didn't have one for a couple of weeks, but apparently it's hard to find a gator with a lot of bling. And so that took a little time, but she has a very unique name tag, and I just want to be sure everybody noticed it. I went to a lot of the events you all talked about, and I'm going to give you a little different spin on a couple of them. Music Band was amazing. I kept having to remind myself they were K-8. It was amazing. At Golden Apple, every teacher had a really wonderful story to tell, and I was moved by all of them. But when the kindergarten teacher, she made me laugh when she talked about things that she never thought she'd hear come out of her mouth, but because she teaches kindergarten, they do say, and kindergartners say some strange things. But she talked about how she teaches and the steps she takes, and then she said, and then those 3 words come, I can read. And I thought, that really is the power of what we're doing. We are opening children's worlds by teaching them the things they need to know to get along in this world. And then dancing classrooms, I was sitting in front of Christopher's dad, and Christopher's dad leaned forward, not sure why, but he did, and he said, my son played baseball for 4 hours this morning, and now he's dancing. I am so proud of my son. And he really was, and it was amazingly sweet. And then Saturday night I went to the a cappella choir. They sang for us at a board meeting not too long ago, but the a cappella choir at Cypress, I went to their concert because I thoroughly enjoy their music, and they were proud to announce that they had while they were having their concert, the CARA Awards, which are like the Grammys of a cappella choirs for high school and college, were being announced, and they couldn't be there because they had scheduled this concert, but they swept the high school awards. It's a national competition, and they got all the high school ones. They also have been invited to have one of their songs included on the CD that is a compilation of all the best college a cappella choirs. A high school has never been part of that before, and one of their songs is going to be on this year's compilation. So they're doing some pretty amazing things, and we're proud of them. And North Fort Myers, the outgoing commander, and it was a very special ceremony. It was done exactly as the military does it when they change command. And my understanding is North Fort Myers is the only one that actually does that ceremony. They all have a change of command, but they're the only ones that do the ceremony. I spoke with the outgoing commander, who is a senior, and I said, so what are you going to do next year? What are your plans after graduation? And she very matter-of-factly, I think I'm going to Dartmouth. She's gotten a scholarship to Dartmouth. I'm very excited about that. So great things are happening every day, and I'm consistently reminded of what our communications director continues to tell us, and we just have to keep telling our story better and better because there are great things happening every day. So FCAT this week, EOCs are just around the corner, AP the first week in May, IB, Cambridge, testing season is in full swing. I sent a video to staff the end of last week, and I just want to remind them, we tell the kids, be sure you have a good breakfast, be sure you get some sleep, be sure you just breathe. I'm going to tell staff the same thing and encourage parents to continue to be engaged, and everybody just needs to press on as we get through this next month. And I continue to be grateful to lead this district. Thank you.
Ms. Fisher, did you have something?
Yes, I just had one more comment. I just realized that before we come back here again, we will have been through Administrative Professionals Week. And so I just want to take an opportunity to thank Susan and Linda for keeping us straight, because I don't know what I'd do without you, and to all of those people who keep everything running so that all of those great things can continue to happen. Thank you.
Next scheduled meeting of the board is May the 6th, a special school board meeting at 2, followed by the briefing meeting and school board action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business to come before the body, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned.